As the saying goes, never do business with friends and family because you can absolutely destroy that relationship. And Artem and Conor situation seems to be a perfect example of that if the reports are actually true. This is something a lot of people did not expect. Artem Lobov is going after Conor McGregor over the whole Proper 12 business because he says that he was the one that came up with the idea. He was the one that branded Conor McGregor and came to him with this whole thing, knowing that he has a background in finance and stuff like that. He also has connections to make this kind of thing happen. He was the brains behind the whole operation, and all he wanted was a 5% cut. And if you know, Conor McGregor was one of the 3 shareholders selling their stake for a combined $600 million. And Artem is demanding 5% of the profits that Conor got from the sale. So we do know that Conor is one of 3 shareholders that sold their stakes combined of $600 million. That means if we cut it into thirds, which is probably not exactly accurate, maybe Conor got a little bit less or a little bit more than a third. We'll just say $200 million. The 5% that Artem wants out of that is $10 million. So essentially, according to these reports, Artem is asking for around $10 million out of Conor McGregor's sale. And that is ultimately why he's taking Conor McGregor to high court. Crazy how close these two were. And now it's being headlined everywhere that they're former friends. They're not friends anymore. I don't know what exactly is going on here, but it's being headlined all over the place, and it's even on newspapers over there in Ireland. Now, the only thing I find pretty strange about this is Artem actually said before that he wanted no money out of this. It was something for a friend, and even Conor offered him like $1 million, and Artem turned it down. Turned down $1 million from Conor. Conor wanted to give him $1 million, and Artem turned it down, and he said, quote, "The selling point of my book will be the Proper 12 whiskey story. A few people know, but this was actually my idea." Unquote. He was in it only for the story. He didn't really want money from his friend. But now he wants a lot of money from his friend. So now with everything turning on its head, it seems like they're not close anymore. They're not friends anymore. And Artem wants something back here. And I don't know what popped this off, what made Artem change his mind. But if he says that he has 5% of all the proceedings, it has to mean that he made that deal in the beginning. Now, Artem having a master's degree in finance and marketing, he would have to know he has to get this thing in writing. You can't just necessarily say that you did it. Loyalty these days, right? I'm not going to say anything against Artem or Conor or whatever, because something could have happened in between these two that forced this, but it's wild to think that Conor at one time flew halfway across the world to go and defend his friend from getting touched by Khabib. The guy got arrested for Artem and had a lot to lose over that. I mean, the only reason Artem was even in the UFC was because of Conor. Conor essentially helped propel Artem's MMA career, which eventually could even lead up to the whole bare knuckle boxing thing. He's having a lot of success over there. And now look where they are. Maybe just money talks. I mean, $600 million shares sold in only 3 years of work is insane. It's just wild, man. The whole thing around loyalty that Conor used to talk about with him and Artem, how close they were, how Artem even used to help him with many fights, and for this to happen between them two is insane. Now, the whole story around this Proper 12 thing is, according to Artem at least, he says, quote, "After the second Diaz fight, me and Conor were in the gym, and we were talking one day, and he says to me, 'Artem, Thor, the Mountain of Game of Thrones?' I was chatting with him, and he's offered me to do my own vodka." Artem tells him though, "Before you even look further, here's what I know about Irish whiskey." I told him about the dominance of the Irish whiskey and all of that. He said, "You go off and see what deal you could put together," and I went on my way. Conor offered me $1 million, but I turned it down. I didn't accept it. Unquote. So Artem is pretty much saying he was the one that gathered all this together. He was the one that created this. But then a spokesperson of Conor came out and said that Proper number 12 Irish whiskey was created, developed, branded, and tirelessly promoted by Conor McGregor. So it seems to be a bit of a fight on who was the one that actually developed and created this brand. And the latest thing that came out here is Artem Lobov's solicitor, or someone who handles all the business affairs for him, said, quote, "My client is a retired professional fighter with a master's degree from DCU in finance and capital markets. We have issued high court proceedings on the behalf to enforce an agreement with Mr. McGregor regarding the Proper number 12 whiskey brand. My client was the initial creator and co-founder of the concept to launch an Irish whiskey brand associated with Mr. McGregor. We will not be making any further comments," unquote. Say what you want about Conor, the guy was very loyal to his friends, 100%. Even Artem at a time looked like he was very loyal to Conor McGregor. And seeing the pictures of them two together, I mean, it is a bit heartbreaking to see where they have gone to now, how everything transpired between the two friends. And as they say, never do business with friends and family. And this is a perfect example as to why.